Well, hello, folks out there in YouTube land. Got a really big show for you today. Yep, this thing was way worse than we realized. I mean, way worse. Good grief, it was bad. And we're going to get all into that. I have been busy on this one. Woo. We're going to talk about Nico's handlers, or his agents, or his camp, or whatever you want to call it. We're going to talk about sources that have come out about all of this, what teams think of him, what teams' fan bases think of this guy, Nico. And at the very end of this, I'm going to show you another famous Nick Roush rant. And all you Tennessee fans will definitely want to watch that because Nick never misses an opportunity to come after the Vols. We're going to start out with this big story on A to Z Sports. And it says, sources laid out a family drama and blame of Nico's unprecedented exit following the holdout. And this is by Ryan Roberts. This came out last night, and I was going to do a video. I said, nah, I'm just going to give it a little bit of time because I was kind of blown away, but it didn't really shock me completely because the way this has been handled has been so horrible on their end that it's almost, well, that is shocking to screw this up that bad.
What an idiot. Oh, what a loser.
But now you're going to find out why. Said the situation didn't just start out overnight or a few days ago. It had been brewing, and it says A to Z Sports has been in contact with many sources over the last few days to put the pieces together, including the Tennessee program and close to the Iamaleava family. Said the recent contract negotiations wasn't the first demand coming from the Nico side, according to his inner circle. They wanted offensive linemen. They wanted that unit revamped, and those demands were from Nico's father, according to this report. And it says, in their familiar hierarchy, his dad has the majority of say regarding what he believes to be best for Nico and their entire family, and they're expected to follow his lead. Along with Nico's agent, the two of them wanted to be guaranteed that his son will be better protected and wanted to see his actions followed. Now, Tennessee went to town as far as getting good offensive linemen for him. They got interior linemen. They also got the #1 left tackle in the country in David Sanders. Paid some big money there too as well. So they clearly fulfilled whatever demands anybody would have had for that. But the truth is, you got to do that anyway. I don't know if that had anything to do with Nico or just that's what you got to do. You got to have good offensive linemen. I mean, Josh Heupel's a former quarterback. He would know that better than anybody. And of course, we know all about Pete Nako's coming out saying there was active contract negotiations. And of course, Nico's dad said that wasn't accurate, which they wound up putting a community note on that on Nico's father's X account saying actually they were in negotiations. So we know who was being accurate on that one. Obviously, it was Nico's. It says, according to multiple sources, the duo of Nick Iamaleava, which is Nico's father, and their agent were already shopping around to generate interest for Nico. Oregon was amongst the schools they contacted. They obviously must have contacted multiple based on this report. And then Dan Lanning reached out to Tennessee head coach Josh Heupel regarding that, letting him know. Other schools, there was Notre Dame, USC, UCLA, Texas Tech, etc. It said the Fighting Irish and Oregon were not interested. They said Texas Tech at least listened, but also didn't make a move. Now, obviously, Tennessee got wind of this because of the Oregon situation. That didn't go over well with them. They were like, okay, you're going behind our back and doing all this. And it says here that Nico was not privy to the majority of what was happening behind the scenes. He said, this is just how things are managed in their family dynamic. He is typically used as an important piece. Well, he is the piece in a game of leverage, deception, and is expected to follow without any pushback. So yeah, so they use him to get what they want. He's the leverage piece, obviously. This is amateur hour. I mean, it's so blatant, it's ridiculous. You can't screw this deal up, and they screwed it up.
You big dummy.
When the Nakos thing came out, it says the Nico's family was completely blindsided by it. They all felt deceived, and Nico and other parts of his family were especially affected. So they were thinking Tennessee was behind this, and they got all butthurt about it, is what it appears to me. Which I could definitely see that happening, especially the pops and the agent getting all tore up about it. Who knows who it actually came from. It says, once that happened, the relationship was to the point of no repair. With Coach Heupel and Tennessee furious about the situation, they made the only decision that made sense. Even Danny White was a major part of the decision. And he was like, cut the cord, man. We can't put up with this anymore. And I could see Danny doing that. He's a very pragmatic dude. Now I'm going to let you listen to what Josh Pate had to say about this, and this gets even crazier.
Fails to mention that this past December, cats like Nico Iamaleava almost held out of playoff games because they were trying to renegotiate contracts in the middle of a playoff run. He wasn't the only one. But just understand, all these people who cannot take a piss without getting the front of their pants wet, that claim to know what's best for this sport and claim to be visionaries, and boy, they can type a lot of words per minute, can't they? They have not the slightest clue.
So he was negotiating, talking about the playoff game, and there is rumors out there that he was using that as leverage, which had he done that, that would have been the worst decision he could have possibly made, because everybody in the country would have turned on him. But it sounds like that was floated. Let's put it that way. So when it comes to whether or not he's going to get anywhere near 2.4, which he might, I don't think he's going to smell $4 million. I think that's completely out the window.
You serious?
And if he goes out west, he's going to have to pay all those taxes. So he's in a difficult situation, and he looks bad. And I don't know that it was his doing. It sounds like it was his team. But here is what Andy and Ari think on 3.
My suspicion is that he's going to take a pay cut to go somewhere else. That people are not going to be jumping to pay him more than the 2.4, 2.2. Not exactly. It's something right around there that he was supposed to get for this season at Tennessee.
You walk away from a good deal. He walked away from a really good deal. A deal that a lot of people would take.
Yeah, a lot of people are thinking he's going to have to take a pay cut. And I'm getting to that point now because I have interacted with hundreds, if not thousands, of people in other fan bases. And if you've seen the comments in the last 3 videos I've done, it's each one's over 1,000. And everybody's saying the same thing. They're like, we don't want this dude. Ohio State fans, there was a lot of talk that he might go to Ohio State. They don't want any part of this dude. They don't. They're like, I think there'd be a riot in Columbus if they went up there and disturbed that quarterback room. And let me show you this as far as Oregon is concerned. There was a lot of talk about Oregon.
There is no world in which I want Oregon to go after Nico Iamaleava.
Yeah, when you open your show with that, you're making it pretty clear. And you know he's heard from hundreds, if not thousands, of Oregon fans as well. I mean, he's locked on Oregon. So we're seeing a whole lot of pushback from the major schools. Also, Deion Sanders, there was a report that there was a connection with Colorado, and he's like, that's not accurate. So we're seeing a ton of pushback. And here's a story, speaking of Pete Nakos, and on 3, UCLA, North Carolina, and Tulane. If he winds up at any of those 3 schools, he's made a mistake. Now, that's nothing against those 3 universities, but first of all, they're not going to pay you $4 million. That's number one. Number 2, you're not going to be as in a good situation you are at Tennessee or were at Tennessee. So this is a mess, an absolute mess. And I think he was a little bit clueless to it. But look, you're a, 20-year-old dude. At some point, you got to step up for yourself and say, y'all need to quit negotiating. I'll handle this. And I'd have gone to Josh Heupel and said, dude, forget all this. I'm here. Let's play. I'll take my $2.4 million. Which would be very gracious of him, don't you think? So needless to say, I think this has been a complete and total disaster. It's obviously way worse than we realized behind the scenes. I could tell Josh Heupel looked relieved when he talked about it after the spring game. It was like, I think he was just sick and tired of the drama and the nonsense from Nico's team. And I think he was fed up. And I think he and Danny White just finally just had it out and said, we got to get rid of this crap. We're putting an end to this nonsense.
Thank you for playing. Should we or should we not follow the advice of the galactically stupid?
Yeah, exactly. The galactically stupid. Anyway, this was way worse than I expected. I didn't realize it was that bad, especially that whole playoff talk and then Nico not having, I kind of had a feeling Nico didn't have a lot to say in this. And there's a part of me that feels bad for him. Another part that's like, he should have stepped up and said, hey, and he didn't even take a phone call from Josh Heupel. Are you kidding me? That's weak. Or as I said yesterday, weak sauce. And speaking of weak sauce, I got to let you listen to Nick Roush. You know he's loving this crap. He couldn't wait.
Of the day.
Oh, please.
This man's genuine laughter when the Nico news dropped. You know, Kentucky was just about to get started. We're just plugging in our computers. The guys are stretching on the field. Coaches aren't out yet. And then the big bomb comes out of Tennessee. And Roush had like an evil villain laugh in the press box.
You want me to try to recreate?
If you want, but
No, that wasn't even my favorite part. My favorite part was when Roush got online and was mad the Tennessee fans weren't madder.
Yeah, like, come on, y'all should be melting down right now. The prince that was promised, he is not as Azor Ahai. He is over on the other side of the wall after he killed your king. What are you talking about? This guy was going to take you to the promised land. He let you down, and you're going to let him walk? Oh, good riddance. No, come on. This is Josh Heupel's fault. If he had a better offense, if he was a better developer of talent, Nico would be taking you the national title. There needs to be riots on Rocky Top. What are you doing?
Oh, yeah. That sounds like Nick. I'm not shocked by that. And, of course, he's thinking, gosh, maybe we can finally beat him.
Can we just beat this team? I know that Mark Stoops has done a lot of good things. This is his one really bad thing. The stupid stat about beating teams with a winning record and taking the next step and blah, blah. Just freaking beat Tennessee. Please, can we just stop losing to this stupid team with their stupid orange colors, and their stupid song, and their get their on out of here.
I doubt it, Nick. You're still Kentucky when it comes to football. This is not basketball. This is football. Anyway, I can't hardly blame him. Look, after what we've done to him over the years, I guess he had this rant coming. Don't get too excited, though, because we got a couple of $1,000,000. Don't you worry. We'll get a great quarterback. That will not be a problem. As a matter of fact, I'm sure there's plenty of quarterbacks right now that are talking to their agent going, get me over to Tennessee. Because, look, when you've got a fan base that'll fill up 25,000 seats up at the Shoe, there's no more rabid fan base than Tennessee. We're just over here waiting for a quarterback to show up and lead us to that promised land. And before you think, oh, he can't do it in 1 year, do you remember a fella by the name of Hendon Hooker? You remember his 2021 stats? Yeah, get a load of this, folks. Hendon Hooker in 2021, his first year at Tennessee, 31 touchdowns and 3 interceptions. Yeah, you can get Josh Heupel's offense figured out pretty quickly. It's just Hendon had a lot of experience. He played at Virginia Tech. We need a guy like that. Now, can we find a Hendon Hooker? Who knows? But 31 and 3, yeah, that's way better than Nico did. So it can be done very quickly if you get the right guy. That's the key. And with a couple of $1,000,000 and a premier landing spot with a huge fan base that can help launch you into the NFL, yeah, I think we'll be fine. You know I'm going to bring receipts. People out there, oh, they're screwed now. Uh-huh. Yeah. Okay. I like that. Don't worry about it. Just forget about Tennessee. We'll just be over here licking our wounds. We'll have no chance against your team. Y'all can just overlook us. Anyway, if you like this content, be sure to hit that like button. Let's continue to cover all these big college sports stories. If you've not subscribed, boom, 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 right there, hit that little button. Won't cost you a dime. Help you get my videos. And right over here's a video YouTube thinks you'll enjoy based on your viewing history. We'll see you next time on Sports Talk Jay.
I want you to know it's over.